When Elliot was born, we could tell that something wasn't quite right, but no one could really help us understand what was going on with him. He was extremely floppy, he wasn't making eye contact, and he had these strange movements that we suspected might be seizures. Despite it being very clear to us that Elliot wasn't meeting his milestones, every time we brought this up with our pediatrician, we were told not to worry about it. You know, like some people develop at their own pace. But whenever I would get together with other parents, it became painfully obvious that Elliot was falling further and further behind. It was a 15-month marathon to get a diagnosis. Well, not so much a diagnosis as a mysterious jumble of letters and numbers. Elliot has SCN8A-DEE, one of the most severe developmental and epileptic encephalopathies. Basically, this means that Elliot has a rare disease with no standard of care, no approved treatments, and no cure. There are many things that make Elliot unique, but there are hundreds of thousands of children like him who struggle. They may have limited to no muscle control. Their communication may be limited to gestures or expressions. And in some cases, they are unable to do, well, almost anything independently. In spite of this, these children excel in patience, resilience, unconditional love, and an unrelenting effort to make progress. As parents, we learn to tune into the tiniest signs of progress. We see these improvements, but many cannot or don't look close enough. Standard testing measures simply aren't designed to handle our children. That means no matter how hard they work, they bottom out on any standardized scale, and their progress remains invisible. Traditionally, we measure efficacy by tracking statistically significant improvements in outcomes. But when your measurement is comparing a child like Elliot against a typically developing child, they'll never show improvement. The ability to properly capture and measure these inchstones, not milestones, is critical to making progress and finding treatments for our children.
Parent advocates continue to lead the way. Tiny, family-based organizations like ours have made major contributions to expanding knowledge of our children's complex and poorly understood disorders. We may be tiny, but we fund research, we convene experts, we seek to inspire, motivate, and focus research on audacious strategies to improve the life of our children. We formed Wishes for Elliot, which has evolved into the International SCN8A Alliance, to help stimulate major advancements in the understanding of Elliot's genetic disorder. The progress we've made over the last 7 years has been astounding.
Wishes for Elliot, bringing together all of the scientists in group meetings and having exchanges of ideas have really helped to push the field forward and provoked a lot of thinking and excellent ideas for moving forward.
Wishes for Elliot has really been a critical mover in bringing this community together and bringing the scientists and the families together in a novel way that makes the work much more meaningful for the people in the labs.
Wishes for Elliot has been a champion of progress and collaboration for SCN8A. As a nonprofit professional who has worked with them in the past, I was always struck by the passion, commitment, and strategy of their team. They were always looking to partner and to leverage related fields to drive forward progress for 8A.
We launched Deep Connections to bring together over 30 patient advocacy groups, and more recently joined forces with Combined Brain and their 25 advocacy groups. Today, we're building a consortium to join our efforts together, alongside the effort of researchers and industry pioneers working to create robust, sensitive outcome measures that will finally see our children's progress.
Like these children, we must be resilient and unrelenting in our effort to drive progress in clinical research. The challenge of accelerating the development and validation of new or adapted outcome measures requires a big coalition and a big investment. There's the potential here to make progress that could positively impact the entire rare disease community and not leave children like Elliot even further behind. Join us